ran for a actual leadership position within our own community, which is something that most people don't do. And listening to you from your story about military, your journey and whatnot, I can understand the drive that you have to want to run for a actual position that can facilitate change within our community.
Right.
And I think that is a really important part for us to get into here, because I don't think most people realize how important the local set of elections are. And a lot of people ignore it, throw that ballot out, or don't waste their time with it. But the local city, county, and state level elections, they matter a lot more than people think, or a lot more than people realize.
Yes,
and
I agree.
So you go from the Philippines to coming in America. You see this, how America is, how great the opportunity is. You join the military. You deploy, you come back, you get medically retired, and then you still find it within yourself to want to run for office. Karl, tell me about that, please. Tell us about what that journey is like, and what made you even want to run for office to begin with, and what position did you even run for?
Well, I didn't, to be honest.
You did what?
I didn't want to run.
Okay.
At first, but I complained too much about what goes on in the state, or look, especially back when I was in California. I used to complain a lot about everything that's going on there, the crime, the businesses are closing because even when I was armed security, I see it. You get a lot of petty crimes going on where a group of individuals, would just come in, grab as much as they can, as long as it's under a certain amount. The police wouldn't do anything about it. And I see a lot of businesses closing down. So I'm like, I could lose my job because the establishment that I'm guarding, if they can't afford to keep me, I'm going to lose my job and stuff. They're going to end up shutting down business or their stores. So with all these complaints that I had, that's why I decided to come back here and not California. But so I just when I started seeing the state level stuff again, I started complaining, and my wife was like,
"This is why you were here?"
Yeah, that's why I went here. And so my wife was like, "Well, why don't you instead of just complaining about it, since you don't have much, you just retired and you don't have anything going on, just go run for office."
And I was like, convince you.
I was like, "There's no way."
She's the culprit.
I'm like thinking to myself, "No, there's no way." And then, so I slept on that, and then I had thought about it for days and days and days. And I was like, "There's no way." And then after a few months pass by, I get more frustrated because I'm reading up with like all these crazy taxes. Now, mind you, we don't have income tax, which is great. But then the state taxes you here, gas, gas tax levies, this and that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, no, we're going down the wrong path. So I said, all right, I'll get involved because I don't want to see what's going on in California to start happening here. With our constitutional rights, it's getting there.
And did you see the gas here now?
Oh yeah, we're now the most expensive.
We're the most expensive
in California.
That's insane, man.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe it. I went to the gas pump yesterday and it was $5.14, and I was like, why? And I started looking back. This has nothing to do with tariffs. This has nothing to do with Trump. This is all their taxing and legislation that they push through here. 100, because you're not seeing...
I was following that. I think we all were following that.
Yeah, and you look at what's going on around the rest of the United States, and they're not seeing this increase like we are. So like, okay, what's really going on now?
Yeah.
People are still paying $2.39 in other places. So what's going on?
Yeah.
You really start to ask those questions.
It's that 9 point whatever $billion
deficit
budget that they, in terms of taxation that was passed, and and then on top of that, I believe in what this country stands for, like being united, having your constitutional rights protected. That's something that's something you don't see in other countries, like
Oh,
the Philippines, where I lived at, for example. You probably don't see a lot of that. Maybe I don't know now because I haven't been back there since. But many other countries, like Afghanistan, where we deployed at, Iraq, you don't have that kind of freedom. So it's like
people take that for granted here.
yes, and after deploying there to the Middle East, you realized, you know what, life here isn't so bad. We're just I guess we just don't. Some people just don't see it. But after being in those countries, I'm like, life here isn't so bad, and I'd like to.
It can be a lot worse.
It could be a lot worse, but that's at least here we have the ability to do something about it. You can be the average Joe, but if you have that vision and you have that drive, and you really believe that serving your community or serving the state the way how you view it based on what people are saying um, would be the best way to go, then you can do it. You can go run for office.
Yeah, that is one beautiful thing about our country. I see you can be the average guy and make a change, make a difference. You don't have to be sponsored by anybody, especially if you have the right vision and the right truth moving forward. People are going to gravitate towards you as long as you're able to push that and stay consistent, right?
Right.
But there are other places where you don't even have that opportunity. If you just disagree, that can get you thrown out.
Oh yeah,
and we're
absolutely.
starting to see that practice more and more now. And I think that's very dangerous. We're moving in a very dangerous direction right now. Here locally in our state, I think we're moving in a direction that looks similar to some of those places that you and I have been.
Or even if we haven't been there, like look at China or North Korea. If you say even if you're a general, you say something bad that the
The government
doesn't like, I mean, you're gone.
And they'll make your family disappear too.
So that's why we have to continue fighting out here, because if we're not careful, eventually our freedom here could get eroded little by little. You may not notice it, but it's probably getting eroded under the radar without anybody noticing it.
I mean, for the most part, it is.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't have time for the politics. They don't have time to pay attention to all of the things that are going on. And most of what they see is whatever's on the radio, on their feed, or the news, if they happen to still watch the news. And if you watch the news, they're just going to tell you Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump bad. And they don't even actually look at the policies that are being proposed or the legislation that's being proposed at all. They completely ignore it, and very, very few people report on it. And I started to notice that this past year around, especially in this state. And that's really concerning to me, because if we're going to call ourselves a democratic republic and have opportunities to voice your opinions out there and your problems out there and bring solutions, you can't be silencing the opposition just because they disagree with you.
Correct.
We're leading down that dangerous path more and more every single day.
That's why having a productive kind of debate is very important. I mean, we could all agree and disagree on everything, but I do believe that there's always a way that everybody can come together, say their piece, and then figure out, okay, then what's the best way that we can make this happen for everyone.
We shouldn't have to take a tragic event to make people come together.
You shouldn't have to. I agree.
I ultimately think that we are better than that. If we would just stop with the fighting for a little bit and look at the solutions to some of the problems that we've created. Instead, we're arguing about, well, they did it first or who did that.
Pointing the finger thing. Yeah.
We're not solving.
Let's actually look at what issues we have at hand, and let's come together. You know, we have a, if you're saying that this project here for transportation is overbloated, okay, then what should we do about it? Should we just finish it up from where it is now, and then whatever's left of the funding, let's put on the roads. Let's actually reinvest it on infrastructure and things that actually matter. You know, if we're tight on money, then why are we still overspending like crazy? I think what would be a more common sense thing to do is actually look at what's actually what spending is actually wasteful and it's not benefiting the people here in the state, and either cut or get rid of it, and then use that funding to actually use that funding to fund your schools, or fund
the money that would be
the money,
the wasted project, or whatnot.
Or actually, just for example, the money getting thrown into homelessness. Like, there has to be an actual plan, instead of just, hey, here's some money, figure out something that you can do to help the homeless people. No, there should be, someone needs to present a plan, and one that makes sense. Like, we have a state hospital, branch out those state hospitals into clinics in a highly affected area. You can build villages around it. You could have a cost-effective village built around that clinic, so that social workers and all the resources are just right there. They don't have to travel far, and you can have the unhoused guys that are living there in that temporary homeless village. You could pay them to clean up, be the janitor or the custodian. You know, pay them that minimum wage, because they get to live there for free while they get their help.
Making them part of the solution.
Yeah, make them part of the solution. Or there's there's a lot of things that they can work. There's, for example, the dry shrubbery that's out, the dry grass and dry bushes, shrubs that we know is a fire hazard. They hire those guys. I'm sure they'd be motivated to clear that off for some money, especially when they're living for free in that.
Right.
You know,
right.
And it gives them some kind of skill, some kind of purpose in their life. You know,
as opposed to just kind of grifting around the streets.
Yeah. Probably help them get their mind off of the drug addiction or whatever it may be.
So you're saying taking money from a wasted project that we're currently wasting money on and utilizing those funds in a manner that would be self-sufficient and clear up some of the actual issues that we have, like the homeless issue that we have.
Yeah.
And then making them a part of the solution. So that instead of taking money from the people, it's money that was already allocated toward a wasted project, and taking those funds and giving it to a project towards the homeless or something that we're all currently dealing with. That's something.
Yeah, absolutely,
is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, that's just.
No, I think that's something that would be.
That's just a thought,
a solution to a problem that we're currently dealing with. You know what I mean? And when you do hear about homeless, you don't hear very many solutions. You just hear, well, we need more money to build this. We need more money for that. But you don't hear about the solutions for those people that are in those conditions.
Right. You don't hear about where that money's going most of the time.
Or even worse, in what are the requirements and the rules for the people that are there, who's auditing the situation and whatnot, things like that we as the taxpayers are like, well, we're paying for it. How come no one's actually making them follow the rules or what?
Yeah, I think there should be, like an independent audit, somebody from the community that's very knowledgeable in budgeting um, and being able to ask the hard questions on like where the money's going, instead of asking a multi-million-dollar individual to be the auditor. I think, and somebody that's an independent individual from the community would probably be the best way to audit. Yeah, that's just an idea
with
too.
the use of AI and crunching numbers.
Yeah, yeah.
Easily now.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, technology nowadays has gone a long way. We could use, especially the younger generation. They're so tech savvy.
I believe it. I agree.
Give them, you know what? That also gives them one, a job, and two, a higher job skill. Especially if you're budgeting something like state, local, county-wide, that gives them some kind of experience as well.
So we're looking at solutions. You're running for city councilman position. You were running for city councilman position 6 in Yelm.
Yes.
In Yelm. Okay, Yelm. And so this is your first time running for office.
Yeah, this is my first.
What are some lessons that you learned about running for office?
Just be yourself. Just be genuine, authentic. Be honest. I mean, I'm not a politician, so I'm not. I don't even know how to talk like a politician. I just think there's a problem going on in the community, and I just say that I think this is the best way to go. If you agree with it or not, I mean, it's cool. If you don't, it's you
have that leadership mindset of you see there's an issue and you want to fix it.
Yeah,
and instead of just complaining about it, what are the ways that I can take to actually make a difference and fix it?
Exactly. Right? Like, who do I have to reach out to? I mean, which organization can I work with, or legislature, and things like that. You gotta think if one solution or one course of action isn't going to work, you pick another one that you feel would work a lot better.
I think a lot of the time the problem with politics is these things take time and people feel defeated. And they don't even want to acknowledge the politicians or the council meetings and stuff like that. So they have no idea what's even really going on. And then next thing you know, they go to the gas pump or they go to the store and they're realizing that everything's more expensive. And they had an opportunity that completely surpassed them. They could have voted yes or no on certain things, like for the park or whatever, that wouldn't have affected their pocket. But they threw it away because they weren't paying attention to the local stuff. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of the time that right there is where a lot of us feel, especially when it's just constantly beat down by the system here. And then all of a sudden, we don't have no more money left. You know what I mean?
That's why it's important.
But even to run for office, people are just feeling so defeated, man, because they see it's like ice skating uphill. So if you want to come in here to make change, if you don't have that already institutional support, it's going to be really hard, right? So when you ran for this position, did you have any institutions backing you or any sponsors or anything like that? Or
No.
How did that work for you?
No, I just did it on my own. I mean, I have a
campaign was done like.
Yeah, like I did the door-to-door on my own. I have a grassroots organization that I do attend meetings with, but when I did my campaigning, it was me that put in the effort. I mean, I got donation from my mother helped me out and was like, oh yeah, here's, and then I put some of my own money and just.
So completely grassroots.
I mean, they kind of gave me some pointers or things like that, but that was pretty much it.
What I mean is, like, you didn't have, like, Amazon be like, hey, this is our guy, we're going to donate $100,000.
Oh, no.
Okay, see, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so no, it was just me.
Wow. So that's I think, really admirable
winning or losing? Along the campaign, you're getting your voice out there. You're knocking on doors. How does that go? How is that? Because so you're new to the area. Not only that, but then you're running for office, and now you're knocking on people's doors, talking to them. What is that like?
I mean, at first I was kind of nervous about it because, like I said, it's my first time. I've never done this before. I'm usually the guy that I don't like socializing, but I push myself.
Now you kind of have to.
I have to, yeah. And I just told myself, hey, you're committed now. You have to. So I did. I went door to door. I enjoyed talking to some of to people in the community, whether they agreed with me or not. I still enjoyed it. But
the position that you were running for, were you running against somebody, or was that an unopposed position, or what was that?
oh, I was running against three others. Three others. Yeah.
So three people were fighting or campaigning for the same position.
Yes.
Okay, that's unheard of.
Yeah.
What was so important about this position?
Well, this position, it city council, they deal with the zoning, the funding for the mayor would ask for a budget that he can work with, and the city councils would be the ones to work together and come up with a budget that the mayor can work with. They approve or disapprove some of the projects that can happen in the local area. It just things like that. So and I agree, it is important because it can shape how a city pretty much runs.
Shoot, look at Olympia.
Yeah, I have, in Yelm, there's a mayor that, he pushes that he doesn't want to raise taxes, and I haven't heard of any taxes being raised while he's on there, and obviously the council members would be the ones to still have to vote on that, but so it's a big influence in being city council, even though it is just city level. It's just local level.
Right. So when you're talking about budgets and things like that,
zoning, ordinances. So
the policies that are enforced within.
Exactly. Yeah. Local policies can even come up from that, and whether it's fair, draconian, or whatever, it's.
So that really does make an effect on, like, within this city, that city, while there's certain rules here, certain rules there don't apply.
Right. Like, for example, I believe, because I worked as an armed security at a cannabis, Pierce County, Tacoma, they're okay with having a cannabis shop, but federal voted it down. So that's a local city council kind of thing.
So it does armed guards in that area, or
I'm sorry?
Is it one of those, like, in that area they don't want armed guards for cannabis?
No, it's just because what people would believe would cause, or the issues that people would believe it would cause if they have like a cannabis shop in their city. So,
wow. So the city ordinance blocked that.
The city is the one that has the discretion, the ultimate discretion on.
And that'll come down to from the city council members voting
it yes or no.
Wow. So before those decisions get made, yes or no, the people within the city, do they have an opportunity to comment?
Oh, absolutely.
And voice how they feel about those kind of resolutions and things?
Yes, absolutely.
Prior to getting voted on? So they do?
Yes.
I don't think a lot of people know about that. I honestly don't think a lot of people know about that. And I think that as part of a campaign or something moving forward, maybe showing people those options and where this is where you could make your voice heard and this is how your voice could be effective if you choose to show up or support this, whether it's Zoom, in person, or just written comment, whatever it is.
Right.
A lot of people don't even know that they have those options. The regular, everyday people have no idea that those are options available to them and how important it is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You can have. I mean, I've commented a lot on the state legislative stuff. If I didn't
Right.
agree with it, if I agreed with it, I reached.
But it's important.
Yeah, it's important that I have my voice heard as well.
And you have a documented piece that you can use for historical record that, hey, this was done on behalf of the people that we seen was wrong or right.
Right.
Whether it's support or oppose. You know what I mean?
I once told myself, nope, I'm going to stop watching the news, but I can't help it. Maybe that's just because I care a lot. But, yeah, I mean, it's out there. And so I said, yeah, you know what? I'll step up. Because maybe it's time that we get somebody different to be the leader, to lead where we're going in our state.
Give something different than the status quo.
Not just some party, not party loyalty, or it's not even about money or ego. It's just I just want things to go within how my values within the Constitution. I care about where things are going for my kids, my family, and so it's things like that that got me started.
That's actually.
I look at a lot of some of the unhoused individuals. They're young, and it's sad to really see that. But I don't want when I look at that, I'm like, I don't want my kids to
end up in that same situation.
In the same situation, yeah. Like eventually, they're the ones that's going to deal with all the extra taxes being passed. When they become adults, how much more taxes would have been passed by then? And
you get to a point where
it's got to get to a point.
You can't get taxed anymore because
it's unsustainable.
People are tapped out. You get to that point where people are completely tapped out, and then what do you have left other than a system that is now having to provide funding to the same people that they're taking the funding from? Like you said, it's not sustainable by any means.
With like the schools, the school districts, I think it's insane that you have the upper administrators getting paid six-figure income, your superintendents getting paid over 200 grand, way sometimes some of them even $500,000, and their schools failing. But they preach about how, well, we're in the red, we're millions of dollars in debt. Now, how are you able to afford to pay yourself and give yourself a raise if we're in debt? Shouldn't you be cutting your pay, your staff?
So you're pretty much saying that there's no excuse for the upper administrators in the schools to get paid six figures when they're showing a track record of the kids failing the most basic things like reading and math. Yeah. There's no
yes.
I could not get a raise if I was failing at my job every year. Year after year, I wouldn't continue to get a raise.
Right, but when you asked, where's that money going? That's what I'm thinking it's going. My opinion is it just gets absorbed from the upper staff through their pay and benefits, and then only a small amount of that gets
distributed out
to where it actually belongs.
Right. Because I'm seeing a lot of online hate going both ways politically right now with this whole Charlie thing, and you know it's making, I think, some of the worst of the worst and best of the best in people come out. But having those conversations with people that disagree with you is just as important, if not more important, than having conversations with those who only agree with you. Because you're never going to grow and learn if you only talk to people that think like you. Right. You're not going to be able to ever come to some kind of growth or any kind of influence if you're only focused on that side.
Right. And so that's how you start thinking outside of the box. That's how you come to a common ground and say and figure it out. Like figure out what's the best way. If you don't agree with this, I get it, I understand, and I respect it. What do you think would be a more viable way for you that you think would work better? Unfortunately, it's the way the state's direction is. I feel like from both sides, it's a my way or the highway kind of thing.
Yeah.
Even though it makes sense, but one side says, I don't like that, so we're not going to vote for it. And here I am just standing there like, what? That doesn't make any sense. I thought you guys are supposed to come together and come up with a solution.
On behalf of the people.
On behalf of the people, exactly. You know,
because you seem to me like a guy that still has that can-do attitude, that wants to still make change and do the right thing. The NCO in you. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know what I'm talking about. So what are you holding on to? What is that spark of hope that you're holding on to that you might think might be beneficial to everyone else out here?
I want younger people to get involved. Especially those that believe in what this country, what this state has to offer, and being and preserving that value, preserving that belief. I feel like if we don't act, if nobody steps up, eventually we're gonna lose what liberty we have left, and it's happening. I mean, we're not gonna deny it. So what keeps me going is because I want, one, my kids. That's one that keeps me going, and two, I want people to see that you don't have to be a guy with a master degree to get involved. You don't have to be some doctor, some career politician. If you have that drive, if you feel that you can make Washington State or community a much better place to live, why not? Go get involved. Go attend your city council meetings, your school boards. I don't care. Flood their office and ask all these questions. Where's our money going? Why is our superintendent getting paid this much money? How come he got this much raise? Why, we say we're in debt, but you're still able to pay your upper administration. Ask the hard questions. I'm just hoping people would do that, would wake up and realize that you actually have way more power than you think. But the first step to doing that is just going to those meetings and just tell them how you feel. Because if you don't, they're just going to do what they want.
Right. Whatever their incentive
they want,
is.
Whatever they think would fit either their agenda or what they think feels right for you.
Or might get them elected again.
Yeah, whatever gets them elected again. That's what they're gonna do.
Oh. So
I really wish I would see more young people, because there's a lot out there with potential, especially after what happened with Charlie Kirk. I'm starting to see people stepping up, waking up, and I'm hoping those people that wake up steps up.
Say that again. You're hoping that people that are waking up actually step up.
That's correct.
Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. Because it's one thing to just see the problem, but to actually step up and try to fix it is a whole nother thing.
Correct. This is one of those countries where you have that individual power to do it. If it just takes, you just have to do the first step. If you don't know what's going on in your city, your state, go attend these meetings. And then if you feel like there's something that's not right with that, ask the question. Ask the hard question. Don't be shy about it.
Right. These people work for us.
Yeah, they work for you. Why be ashamed of it?
Right.
You're their boss. You put them in the office. That's how it's supposed to work, right?
Absolutely.
Government's supposed to work for the people.
Absolutely. So why don't we see that? That's the real question.
Like what you said, a lot of people probably don't realize that they can do that.
Yeah.
Or they're just voter apathy. They're just, you know what?
I think
It
that's
is what it is, and
yeah,
I'm just
I
going to
think
let it,
they're
whatever
too busy
happens,
living
happens.
their lives and trying to maintain. But I really think that we're at the turning point where people are starting to realize that this is not sustainable and that something else has to be done.
We're at a pivotal moment. And I hope more people takes advantage of this pivotal moment.
For good.
For good. For the good.
For the good. Absolutely. We'll make sure we emphasize for the good.
For the good. Not what you think is because I identify with this party or that party. No. For the good, based on what you think, what your belief is, what your value is inside.
That is the one fundamental thing I believe Charlie Kirk stood on is regardless of party or politics, just be a human, be an American. God sees you as a human being. So put yourself out there as a human being, not just for whatever politic or whatever.
I've had somebody disagree with me when I went door to door, and I said I respect it. I respect that. I have nothing wrong with it. I mean, it's your individual right.
Right. I don't have to agree with everything, but we can still be friends.
Yeah.
Like, I think that, like you said, this is a pivotal moment, and if we can actually fix it instead of continuing to fight, I think we're going to be able to. I think we're going to be able to make some good change.
Honestly, I would support if somebody from the outside, an outsider, realizes that there's a problem going on, that there's too much war between the left and the right, and they want to take it a more pragmatic approach, a more moderate approach. I'm going to support that guy. See what you can bring to the table, man.
That could be you. That could be you right now.
It could be.
You said it starts with us younger guys getting out there, right?
Exactly.
And just literally having the conversations. That's where it starts.
Yeah.
That's literally where it starts. And I think if we come together, like right now, get a couple of these microphones, plug it into the phone, and just go start talking to people. That's where I think we're at. And people having these conversations, whether they agree or not, I think that's where we're going to educate people and showing them.
I'd also like to add that if there are topics that you feel is hard to look at or read, hey, the thing is you have to overcome that part of you that doesn't want to look at it. Like, you know what they say in the stoic, the obstacle is the way. Like, there's a very what's that word? Like, there's a certain topic that you know is a very hard thing to talk about, right? Sometimes you just have to delve in it.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you're not coming up with any kind of solution if you don't look into it Even
Right.
yeah,
You just
it's
see
hard.
the problem sitting there, but you're not actually trying to overcome the problem or fix
Yeah,
it. You
because
just
you
see
don't.
it
Yeah, because
there.
you don't want to. Maybe it's something that's very sensitive to you.
Right.
For example, uh, the uh, obviously gun rights, right?
Mm-hmm.
I hear all these gun control, and it's like I don't want to read it, but when there to me there came a point when I said, well, if I keep telling myself I don't want to read it, well, I'm not doing myself any justice.
Mm.
This is if I'm really serious about making a difference out there.
Can't just choose to
Can't
ignore
just
some
choose
and then
choose to ignore it and go to a different topic.
mm.
No, I
because
need
it
to
doesn't
read it.
align or fit your.
Yeah, just because it doesn't. Read it. Have an open mind. Maybe something will come out of it and say, okay, that might be a little too much, but how about instead of making the experienced gun owners buy a permit, why don't we educate the newer gun owners, teach them about safety, the laws,
Mm-hmm.
what do's and don'ts,
Mm-hmm.
things like mental health implications, and then the range. For the newer, younger gun owners that want to, that wants to get into that kind of hobby, that to me makes more sense.
Mm-hmm. The same way they do in the military. You get your rifle right away, and they teach you
They teach
right
you the
away,
basic, yeah.
and you have that with you every day.
Safety,
all
safety.
with you when you go to sleep. You have it with you,
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, that safety. That's what they harped on us in the military. If your selector switch wasn't on safe, and you knew you weren't gonna fire that weapon, man, they hammered on you.
You wanted that to be
NCOs, your
locked in,
sergeants, yeah.
muscle memory.
So it's things like that I believe makes sense for the newer gun owners.
Common sense approach.
That's a common sense approach. But for me and you, we're veterans. We and I'm a gun owner.
Oh yeah, me too.
I always practice safety.
Mm-hmm.
My son, I taught him when I was stationed in Colorado. We went to the mountains because there's an area in the mountains in Colorado where you can shoot. There's you find a backstop, and I taught him how to shoot. It was a Ruger 1022, and I taught him. And then I looked at his trigger finger.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what are you doing? Get your finger out of there. You're not shooting.
Trigger discipline.
Yeah. That's the first thing he harps on. And
He's used to it.
He has a Nerf. He has a Nerf gun in him when his friends play it or his brothers play it.
He
Don't put your finger on it.
But he teaches them this good practices as a kid too.
Like that,
That's amazing.
Because we already have that instilled in our head.
Right.
And for other gun owners out there, they already have the experience. They know. Get the finger off your trigger if you're not.
Those basic fundamentals,
So that's just the way I see it.
So your vision of hope, if people do get involved, then there is hope. But people have to get involved.
People have to get involved.
They can't just sit back and sideline or keyboard warrior. They have to actually get involved in the ways that they might have been more uncomfortable in the past, but will ultimately be beneficial.
Yeah, absolutely. If it's some topic you're not comfortable with, you still
reach out to people. Reach out to people online and stuff, because there are people that are interested in helping others understand these things. And I think that's something that maybe even we could be putting together at the local level, just like as an advocate level, you and I, this kind of level. And before session kicks off again, we could fill up the cafe and teach people what to look out for on a bill. It's just ideas and stuff like that that could be beneficial to the people. This is how you read a bill. This is how you comment. This is how you testify. This is how you can do it written, because there's so many people that have no idea. And it takes a few minutes. They can do it on their phone. They can do it on the computer.
And
if they just and then they teach somebody else how to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I didn't even know that those were options until this past session. I had no idea. I was under the mindset, like so many other people, that hey, we just elect a representative and then they deal with it.
So,
we don't have a say so.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's a pretty big mindset that goes on for most people.
So I learned about that when I was going back to California, that there is you can send a comment, you can send an email why you don't support a bill. Unfortunately, this was California, so it just felt like my message went here and out here. So,
luckily, though, we're living in a day and age and a time where if you do submit your testimony, you can screenshot it and then put it on social media and be like, look, this is what we're doing, and they're not listening to us.
now we have
And now,
technology,
you know what I mean? And now we can really get them. They're not responding to me. Put that out there. Because people will respond to that, and they'll start sharing it out there. Next thing you know, now they have to respond to you.
That's what I've seen that a lot.
If we don't do
with the legislature,
yeah.
it says like how many percent
Yeah.
opposes this bill.
People have to put that out there so people can see.
So now, for these guys that want to stay in office, when you see that you have a bill that a big majority of Washingtonians disagree with, are you going to pass that?
Well, now, and if
now
you
the pressure's on
right,
you, right?
and if you do, well, now we have a record of you going against the will of the people.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's on record.
And I hope
That is why it's important.
I hope Washington State keeps it like that.
They have to be able to. You have to allow the people, the will of the people, the voice of the people. You can't stop that.
Then
it's very important.
it's also the other thing. The people needs to be the one to ensure that they stay true to that.
I don't think people realize that these things are done at the people. Like, they think it's somebody way up high making these decisions. Like, it's at our level where these things can actually make a difference and can make change.
That's why it's important to educate people. Like what you said, because it's in the Constitution. And if everybody knew that, then they can go up to whoever they elected and say, hey, wait.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the Constitution. You're supposed to represent our vision, your constituents' vision.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you passing this? And we don't like this.
And especially for us in this county, where we can go down there to the Capitol, and be like, hey, buddy, what are you doing?
And
you're allowed to do that.
Allowed to.
So that's the thing that people, well, you're not allowed to go there. Yes, you are. That is the people's building. I go there all the time. Yeah. Trust me. I know. You can go there.
You don't realize you pay for their.
You pay for that building.
You
can go there. You can sign in when you first get there. And they have to let you in. Like
you pay for the electricity.
Exactly. Everything that is in there, pocket. You are allowed to. And if they deny you, then you have that on record. They're not going to deny you because they have to allow. Like, you can go there and set up a meeting. Like, you have that. People don't do that unless they are lobbyists for whatever's getting pushed.
Well, come on, people, wake up.
That is what we need. That is exactly what we need. Well, Karl, thank you again for doing this with me, man. Yeah. No, this is great. I think this is great, and I think you should continue this mission. And if you have anything else that you want to come and chat about or hang out, just let me know. We got to get a range day together, too. We can go do some range stuff, man.